right, well, good morning, 775. Y'all are looking good today. I'm April Sims. My pronouns are she and her, and I have the privilege of serving as the Secretary-Treasurer of the Washington State Labor Council, AFL-CIO. And I'm so excited to be here with you all this morning. Now, President Mary Kate Henry talked this morning about the moment that we're in. And I think we've all heard, the unions have been in the news a lot lately. We know that union favorability is at an all-time high, that 71% of young workers say they would join a union tomorrow given the opportunity. And that is so exciting because the more workers we have in our union, the more power we have. And the more power we have, the more we can push back on the greedy bosses and win dignity for the work that we do. But we know, yeah, you can give it up for that. But we know that that won't happen unless we organize, right? Unless we talk to our colleagues and organize more workers into our union. So I'm really excited about this morning's panel. We have a great panel today of caregivers from Washington, Montana, and Alaska, sharing. Alaska's in the house, I see you. They're going to be sharing their organizing experiences. So let's kick this off with a round of introductions. Suzanne, would you like to start, and then we'll work our way down the line?
Sure. Hi, I'm Suzanne Zinter. My pronouns are she, her, and I love being a caregiver. I'm working with a supported living agency just on the other side of the water in Bremerton, Washington.
Good morning. I'm Delphine Camarillo. I'm an agency provider from Billings, Montana. I've been a caregiver for 27 years. I use the pronouns she and her, and I have 4 clients.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Cal Hilmo. Let's see, I'm a CNA at a nursing home in Spokane, Washington. I've been a caregiver for 4 years, and I use the pronouns he and him.
Hello, my name is Megan Deaver. I'm a personal care assistant from Homer, Alaska. I've been a caretaker for 5 years, and up until recently I've had just 1 client, and my pronouns are she and her.
All right. Well, a big welcome to all of our panelists, and thank you for your courage and your willingness to share your stories with us today. Now, you all come from all over and have different careers, but you're all here today for 2 reasons. You're caregivers, and you recently helped organize other caregivers. So, Suzanne, let's start with you. First, welcome to your first leadership conference. Yeah, give it up for that. And you work at a supported living facility. So can you tell us a little bit about what that's like and what prompted you and your coworkers to start organizing?
Sure, thanks, April. I'm really happy to be here. It's been really great getting to know so many great other caregivers across the states, so this has been awesome. When I started with my employer over 10 years ago, it was nothing like it is now. We were fully staffed and sometimes overstaffed, and that allowed us to do a lot of really fun things with our residents. We got to go on day trips, go to concerts, even mini vacations to Disneyland, and then things changed. Something happened and things started to go downhill. And that was even before COVID. And once COVID did hit, it was really bad. We are just so understaffed, underpaid, and just burnt out, and something had to change.
Oh, thank you for sharing your story, Suzanne. Yeah. I know that 775 and other unions and workers have talked about how hard it's been in facilities like yours, so I know there are a lot of folks in the audience today who can relate with you. Now, Megan, you have a little bit of a different perspective on organizing right now. Alaska has the fastest growing senior population per capita in the United States, but budget cuts have resulted in reduced service levels for people in need of care. Wages for caregivers have gone down and were lower in 2021 than they were a decade ago. So tell us a little bit about what it's like working in that environment.
It really hasn't been easy. Up until recently, I've only had one client, and she's a paraplegic and requires a very high level of care. And I didn't necessarily know what I was getting into when I became her caretaker, as I had never done anything like it. So she needed assistance from dressing to bathing to pretty much everything in between. And we had a respite provider for a while, but we unfortunately lost them due to injury. And so that left me needing to work 7 days a week, and there was no one to relieve me by the end of my shift. The company lowered our pay, and that caused a lot of us to quit. But those of us who stayed were working constantly and couldn't take on new clients or even help each other out. And my company, unfortunately, told me that I was volunteering my time when I was working 7 days a week. But I was not volunteering. I was working hard. We don't get hazard pay. We don't get PPE or any basic medical supplies. Everything had to come either out of my pocket or my client's pocket. And for a while there, I had to move in with my mom, and I am still struggling to pay my bills, and this is the unfortunate reality of PCAs all over Alaska, and we're very, very ready for change.
Wow, Megan, I'm really sorry that you and your fellow PCAs are experiencing that, and I'm really excited to hear that you're organizing a union. Thank you for sharing your experience. Let's turn to you, Cal. I'm loving the energy from Alaska today. Let's turn to you, Cal. Your facility, like many other nursing homes, was experiencing low wages and short staffing. Can you tell us what that was like?
Well, as any nursing home worker knows, that even before COVID, things were hard. And then COVID hit and it got a lot worse. And you can't provide quality care for your residents when you don't have enough staff. And our facility hadn't seen raises in 3 years. I remember, staying after a shift and talking to one of my coworkers and just how stressed out she was about not being able to provide the quality care and the time that she wanted to dedicate to the residents she wasn't able to do. And then she went on to tell me about how she had to move home. She was a single mom of 2 kids, and it's a very common story anymore where people are having to move home with their parents because they can't afford to live themselves. And our management kept promising changes, and we never saw it until we organized. And we organized.
Yes! I love that. Nothing changes until we organize. Thank you, Cal, for sharing your story. Without a doubt, you had a big impact on your facility joining SEIU 775. Now, Delphine, this summer, you and a group of 775 members doubled the amount of organized home care workers in Montana. So first off, congratulations. That's huge. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Yes, thanks. That was great news for Montana caregivers and also for the union. And it took a lot of years, and I mean years and years of campaigning to actually get to where we was. The union started bringing Montana back into, or brought Montana into the union back in the early 2000s. Thank you, Cal.
We got your back.
Right? And I know there's some of you who are out in the audience who was part of that campaign back then. We really never stopped fighting to make sure that caregiving is a job that's treated with respect and with dignity. And that's why we was actually talking to those caregivers out in Montana.
That's great, Delphine. Yes, there's no feeling in the world like the hope that comes when we start organizing together. But sometimes we know that the people with power and the big bosses can get scared of what we can do. That's why they push and go through such lengths to try to fight our unionizing efforts. So, Suzanne, what was it like when your facility learned you and your coworkers were organizing?
It was a breeze. I'm kidding. So when I heard that some of my coworkers were talking about joining SEIU, It was so exciting. I knew that SEIU was the caregivers union. So, so that was really exciting. And our employer obviously knew what a big, powerful union 775 was, because they got scared and they brought in one of the biggest and most expensive union busters in the United States to fight us. This anti-union firm costs $800 an hour. And our facility is Medicaid funded, so that means those are coming out of tax dollars. Yeah. We figured SIU 775 must be pretty powerful for them to fight us that hard. But we won our union. We are bargaining our first contract right now, and we know that it's going to be a long journey, but we are here and up for the fight.
Yes, that's amazing, Suzanne. And I know that you and your coworkers are going to win a fantastic contract. And I wish you the best of luck. We're all cheering for you and standing in solidarity with you. Yes. So now, Cal, how about you? What has it been like for you and your colleagues when you first started organizing?
Oh my word, it's been amazing. Because of all of you, my brothers and sisters, we won historically for long-term care, $144 million. And $48 million specifically going to our wages. And so, because of you, we won 2 raises in our contracts in the last 9 months. So the wages at our facility, some of them were making $14 an hour, and now nobody in our facility makes under 20.
Make some
And that
noise for
happened
that.
in less than a year. So there's a lot of power in having one voice advocating for us and our residents. And it feels good to be part of something that makes such a positive difference. And there's positive change coming. So thank you.
That's amazing to hear, Cal. I'm so excited for you and your coworkers out in Spokane. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Megan, I heard that PCAs in Alaska have been working on getting more funding for the work that you do. Will you tell us what it's been like fighting for this, and how did you all find each other and connect?
Yes, I actually can't remember who spoke to me first, but I heard that caregivers were going to start coming together to fight for more funding and better working conditions. I started attending meetings for SEIU 775 and talking with other caretakers about their problems and what we could do to fix it. And we actually have a Facebook group, and that's a great way for us to be able to commute and build a sense of community with each other. And I don't think people realize how much we can, how much power we can to change things. And but organizing can really change things. And the system in Alaska is very underfunded and very, very broken. But it's stories like mine and other PCA stories that truly make a difference. And we know that's true because this year we won $32 million for, yes, and 10% raises for caregivers. We celebrated with a big party in Anchorage, and we had over 100 PCAs, family members, lawmakers all come together to celebrate, because we all believe in this movement, and we all believe in this fight, and we're asking for a union, and we are going to win one.
That's incredible, Megan. Yeah, you and your fellow PCAs got creative to connect over social media, and look at what you have accomplished. It was your stories that changed hearts and minds, and we share them with decision makers, but we also share them with each other, and that's how we grow a movement. So, Delphine, what were some of the takeaways from talking with other caregivers in Montana?
Well, I talked to a lot of caregivers in over a 3-week course, and I got to hear their stories, and it was pretty exciting. Once they knew that I too was a caregiver like them, they kind of opened up more and talked to us and wanted to know more about the union. So granted, it was in the summer, we was experiencing triple-digit temperatures, very, very hot out there, but we didn't care. We needed and wanted to get this done. And so a majority of the people were really the parent providers. And one story that really kind of stuck out to me was a gentleman who, him and his wife were caring for their 3 children, and he had just recently retired. And so he started taking over a little of the duties at home, and he was really ashamed to find out what his wife was doing, other than holding down her other job and making supper and everything, and he really felt bad, and it was a real eye-opener. So that was good because he shed a couple of tears, and he was very, very worried of what's going to happen to his 3 boys when him and his wife aren't able to care for them. And so because of that, he realized how underpaid us caregivers are and the amount of work that we actually do. So he was so for a union, and he wanted to make sure that, you know, whoever is going to care for his kids are going to have the proper training, which comes with the union. They're going to have basic things that they need, and that made him hopeful for the future. And it made me, that's what gives me the courage to, you know, want to continue this fight, you know, for everybody.
That is a beautiful story, Delphine. Thank you for sharing it with us today. Stories can really prompt change, and sometimes change takes time, and sometimes it doesn't. Cal, when you and your coworkers decided to organize, I understand that you got it done in 1 week. Tell us how that happened.
Well, just like everybody else on this stage and a lot of you in this room, when you first began, it was a bit of a revelation to find out that I wasn't the only one. Everybody was frustrated, and everybody wanted change right now. So we have a fairly small facility, but the word got around fast, and the momentum was moving in our direction the whole time. We had 44 people that were ready to sign cards and call a vote within a week. And I didn't know that was a record at the time. And, you know, because, you know, when you're working as much as we do, everybody in this field knows how burnt out you can get and how bad it can be when you're working 88 hours a week. And the first thing you want to do is clock out and go home. But we stay and we talk union shop. We get everybody involved, and everybody got so excited because they knew they were going to have a bigger voice, and we were going to be able to have more change for us and our residents. And that's how we did it in record time.
That is impressive, Cal. That's very impressive. Y'all were ready for change, and you weren't going to let anyone stop you. Yeah, so Delphine, tell us what's next for home care in Montana.
I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next for us, because now we got double the amount of people, and so we got double the amount of stories and double the amount of people to help us fight. Because you guys know that our fight are with our stories, and we got so many more stories to tell. And you know, one thing about us is we've always fought for our caregivers. We've always fought for our families. And so now it's time for us to fight for ourselves, and we're organizing so we can make that happen.
Yes. I can't wait to see what you all do in Montana now that you have double the power. I know there's nothing but good news on the horizon for you. Suzanne, you and your coworkers have won your union, but I understand that's not the end of the story. So tell us what's next for you.
Yeah, so we're just getting started. We are bargaining, and it's going to take time, especially because of those $800 an hour taxpayer-funded union busters slowing things down. But that's okay. They can keep picking fights and wasting time, because that's why I'm able to be here with you fine people. But there's really so much that still needs to change. We need better staffing, we need better training, we need better funding, and we need answers. Funding was made available to facilities like mine through the American Rescue Plan, and I want to know what my facility did with those funds. I didn't see them in my paycheck. And I'm angry. I'm angry that we have to fight for these things, to fight for answers. But that's okay, because it's motivating too. I can't wait to get back to my coworkers and share as much of this enthusiasm and energy that I've seen and felt here. And I know we are going to make things happen.
That's right. You will. And we'll all be in solidarity with you every step of the way. So thank you for sharing that. And finally, Megan, PCAs in Alaska made something out of nothing last year. So what's in store for you?
It's amazing how much things can change in just 1 year. We've grown into such a powerful and large community, and we're not going to stop now. We achieved so much, and we did it because we were organized. We won recognition, we won respect, and now we are going to win our union.
Yes, that's right. Well, thank you to all of you for sharing your stories today. I am leaving this conversation feeling both inspired and motivated, and I hope that you all are too. So please, give it up, show some love for our amazing panelists. That's right. Thank you all so much.